In today's Garden Grow, it's time to Ask the Garden Guy, and that's when we answer your plant-related questions. And for that, we turn to our expert, Derek Thomas, founder of Thomas Landscapes. Good to see you, buddy.
Good to see you.
All right, so it's a little bit cold outside this morning. We were hoping to do this outside. It's sunny, which is nice.
Well, yeah, but the sun's it's not heating it up.
It doesn't help for the plants.
Right,
We've been burned the last couple of days.
And, you know, it's really thanks to everybody that sent me questions on Twitter. Follow me at Thomas Garden Guy if you've got questions like this. Everybody wants to know what to do because 2 weeks ago, you know, we were in the 80s. Actually, last weekend we were in the 80s, right? Well, if you've planted out some of your stuff, everybody wants to know what they can do. The first question was, what vegetables can you put out now? The vegetables that you can put out in a normal spring would be cold season vegetables.
Well, this is not a normal spring,
things like spinach, kale, and lettuces. Now, in the event that we have a freeze, and this is a perfect segue to the second question. The second question is all about what do I do with the plants that I have already planted into the garden in the event of a freeze. If you've got a small garden, you can take those great recyclable bags, and Steve, I'm gonna cut these off of here, and what you're gonna do is you're gonna create a little tent over one of those plants, and you can actually see that,
use the whole
use the whole bag and put it on, let's put it over the spinach plant there. You can do that if you've got a small vegetable patch and you've got enough of the bags, you can do that. And what that basically does is it protects the plant from a freeze or a frost.
Show us where the damage is on this plant.
You can see the damage on this plant right here because see how that leaf has actually wilted and the plant's going to lose that leaf. The leaf should be nice and strong and firm like that.
Or leave it?
What you want to do is when the weather gets itself back together, go ahead and pinch that out. And you see the younger stuff is right inside there. The bag is actually going to protect it. If you've got a big garden, you can use newspaper or you can use a bag like this, and you can go ahead and cover it over and then water it down. Okay? That's what you do to protect the garden. Now,
let me get one more question in here, Derek, because I want to make sure we have this. Now, somebody wrote in and they tweeted you and they said if it's an ornamental plant, you wintered it indoors.
Right.
When's the best time to put it back outdoors so that it's safe and also to transplant it into a larger pot?
Okay, technically, April 15th is the frost-free date. Mother Nature's like sleeping this year, right? Okay, if you've got a plant that's outdoors, what you want to do is you want to that's been indoors that's going back outside. You see the difference of color here? That tells you that this plant has been growing in less light, which is an indoor condition. You want to make sure that before you put it back outside, acclimate it to the sun. The sun will burn this plant if you don't. The other thing that you want to do is, so slowly work it back into the sun. Even though it's a full sun plant, slowly work it back into the sun. The other thing that you want to do, if you need to repot this plant or any plant, the reason that there are many different sizes of containers is you don't want to take a plant that's in a container like this and put it in a container like this. The reason is that the soil will sour and the plant will never grow into that. You want to go maybe about 2 inches larger at the most when you're repotting the plant.
All right. Hopefully we've turned that corner now and it'll be safe and no more freezing.
You know, it's hard to tell. It's been that kind of winter, right?
If you have more questions, you can always
at
tweet
Thomas
Derek.
Garden Guy, and we'll get them on for you.
All right. Good advice. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve.
Let's go warm up.
Yeah, let's go warm up.
Well, Holly is warming up because where she is, they probably have all kinds of fancy heaters and everything else. So she's showing off this year's design house. Morning again, Holly. Holly, are you there? All right, we'll still work to try to get that figured out and see what we can do there because it is something to show off down there when they're talking about something like, what were they at, 3,500 square feet just because they included the finished basement into that design house. So it's a beautiful facility. It is here in Northwest Washington. We're going to get down to Holly in just a minute as we take a look at some of the interior views of this great design house this year. Derek, this looks like your property.
Oh, I wish, right?
But I mean, look at all the plants that are there.
All the plants on the sink and also on the curtains there. Yeah, I could see something like that in my home.
This is like one of your dream bathrooms right here.
That would definitely be. Yeah, definitely would be one of my dream bathrooms.
All right, while we're trying to get back to Holly, Derek, you get some bonus time right now. We can talk more about what's happening in the changing conditions that we're dealing with outside.
The biggest thing that you want to make sure, and I didn't mention this before, you know, putting out the cold season vegetables now is a really, really good thing. thing. But one of the things that you want to make sure is that you don't take the bait when it comes to buying things like tomatoes, eggplant, green peppers, basil. Okay, there's plants that are warm season plants that are available right now. Don't buy them.
But they need that warm
because they
season.
need that warm season. Also, with some of your ornamentals, things like begonias and caladiums, which are really, really heat tolerant, you don't want to get them right now. If you get them right now and you put them into the cold earth, you could actually do damage to the plant.
It is a seasonal thing, even if the seasons aren't exactly cooperating with us.
Exactly.
Right, thank you, Derek. Let's check in with Holly now and see how things are going now at this beautiful facility. Hi, Holly.